I'm Holly Waxman, Realtor with 72 Sold. Welcome to our lifestyle podcast, Arizona Lifestyle and 72 Sold, with three of my favorite guests here. And we're so lucky, and thank you so much, Heather Robinson with Heather Robinson Designs, to be here today.
Thank you, Holly. I'm glad you asked me to be here.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited that we're going to be able to learn more about the trends and what's new and exciting here in Arizona with home fashions.
Absolutely.
And looks. And Brittany Waxman, my favorite daughter with 72 Sold Realtor.
Hi.
Listing partner. And of course, Adam Dahlberg.
Hello.
The one and only.
Welcome back.
The best
Good to see you
realtor
again,
I know. And keeps me out of trouble.
Well.
Thank you.
We get into trouble from time to time, right?
Yeah.
We deal with a unique populace of folks. And so it's just about trying to navigate the hardships a lot of times with some of these people. I'm glad we get a chance to work together, though.
Me too.
It's about finding solutions.
Well, happy Valentine's Day to everybody. And I was just talking with Heather a little bit, and we were saying, let's talk about how we can have more love in our homes and what ideas you have for us.
More love in the house. Oh, wow. Is it PG?
What kind of rooms do you design there, Heather? What's the most interesting kind of room you've been asked to design?
Well, a long time ago back east, I was asked to design a sex room.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yes.
A sex room?
A sex room.
I've seen that on TV.
Yeah. That was interesting with the swing.
Right.
The whole layout was very dark, and it was like a leopard kind of print theme going on. But yeah, that's probably the.
Now, did you have to find a builder to help build out some of this equipment in there? Or is this stuff that you just ordered?
This was stuff that was just purchased, and wallpaper and furnishing and artwork. Yeah.
Now, was it like near the master bedroom or?
Nope, it was off at the opposite side of the house.
Interesting.
Had its own entry.
Wow.
What did the rest of the house look like? A total disaster? They wanted to bring you in as a guest.
You would never know that there was a sex room.
Yeah. Bookshelf moved and you went in, right?
No, very, very regular home.
Well, that's not your normal. That's not your normal type of design, right? What do you normally design?
So what I've been specializing in is more of a contemporary upscale. Doing a lot of work in Paradise Valley. I just did a commercial building that we did very contemporary. North Scottsdale off the 101 in Raintree.
Yeah.
Holly's been there. I kind of think that when you walk in, it's nothing that you've seen around here before.
No.
It almost gives you like this feeling like Dubai.
Yes.
Very luxe, very glam. Mm-hmm. So I really like doing that project.
You do mostly commercial? Or mostly residential?
So I've been tapping into commercial this past couple of years, but other than that, no. High-end residential is what I tend to go to.
Yeah.
And where are those areas in Arizona? Where do you find most
Paradise
of them?
Valley, North Scottsdale, Ahwatukee. I've done a couple in Ahwatukee. I'm noticing that there's a big trend going out towards Gilbert. You know, they're building some really fabulous homes out in Gilbert, as you probably know. And then they're starting new builds out on the west side. Glendale area is popping off. Yeah.
So when a client calls you and maybe they're rehabbing a property or they're doing a new build and they want to bring in a designer. And by the way, I'll go on a rant here in a second, how important having somebody like you in your corner is, whether you're a house flipper, whether you're designing or building your own new build or commercial building or project or whatever. Probably the number one most important person other than maybe your architect and the people that you pay off at the city, just kidding, but that you could bring onto your team is an actual designer.
Absolutely.
I've seen so many bad remodels and, you know, especially in the last 10 years, the house flipping craze, you know, people watch a few episodes of HGTV and they think they can go in and do what they see, you know, on cable. And it's not that easy. It's not that cost effective to do it yourself. And quite honestly, most people just don't know what they're doing in the form of design. So I guess maybe walk us through what a normal project from start to finish would look like if I were to call you up and go, you know, hey, I'm redoing my 3,500 square foot house in Gilbert. What's the first thing that we talk about and how does that project progress through completion?
Okay, good question. So I just did a consultation with a young couple 2 nights ago, and she's newly pregnant, newly engaged, and she's moving into his already established home. Very bachelor pad, very masculine, and it gets down to where she already has decided what she wants, and they've had this conversation, and then they're going like this.
Really?
So the one thing that I noticed that I had to do was kind of just be the mediator there. And with that consultation, she said she wants a very organic feel. She wants a contemporary desert. And he's just trying to hang on to his art collection, his very expensive art collection that's very masculine. And so during, the consultation, we were able to come to an agreement that we found a home for his art in the home. And she gets to have mostly everything. And that was that whole conversation. And by the end, we signed a contract, and now we're going to remodel their home.
You know what's amazing? Because I've met with a lot of different designers, and I'm really impressed because I know for Adam and I and Brittany, when we go out to meet people, we have the intention. And I think that's one thing that we really are good at. We have the intention that we're assessing what's going on, and we're trying to evaluate and do the best for them. But we're pretty, they're interviewing us, we're interviewing them, but we're really trying our very, very best of any way possible to be able to assess them and guide them properly. And that's really impressive with you as well, because lots of times when we come into people's personal space, we're dealing with a lot of emotion. Mm-hmm. And it's nice when you don't have to feel judged, but you can just feel, that someone's there with their expertise to help.
Yeah, well, just like your job, you have to be quick on your feet when there's emotions involved. And it's emotional when you're buying a home together or you're remodeling, and there's financials. And you do have to be that expert and that professional to read between the lines and get to what works for them.
Now, when you're going into a home, do you as a designer appreciate more of the just you do what you want to do type of an order, I suppose, or a commission? Or do you like the people that are maybe a little bit more organized, maybe a little bit more A-type personality, like this is the colors I want, this is the look that I want, this is the feel that I want? Or is it better for you to come in and go, I already know, like for you to gauge that person and go, tell me a little bit about yourself. All right, let's go.
Yeah, well, that's 2 different client types. I've had them both. I've had the ones that are almost could do it themselves, but they're maybe too busy to do it. And they've got a great plan, and they've got, picked out a lot of stuff from Pinterest. And then they just need someone to execute that. And I like that person. That's great. It cuts off a lot of time for me. But then there's that person that does not have any style, no creativity, not an artistic bone in their body. And they just say, go for it. Mm-hmm. With that type of client, I spend a lot of time just talking to them and watching how they live and asking questions like, what lifestyle, what do you do? Are you a hiker? Or, what do you resonate with? Is there any kind of art that you're attracted to? Mm-hmm. And then I try to find their style that they don't even know they have. Mm-hmm. And then we work off of that. And they're usually really pleased with how that all comes together.
It's really important because I know even from us selling homes and living in homes, the way your home feels and how you feel in your home is so important for your whole mood and your whole aura and your production to be able to fulfill your dreams.
Absolutely.
I feel like maybe being in your position and even in our position as realtors dealing with these people, there has to be a sense of almost like a therapy involved in doing what you do, because people probably need a redesign when they have a home that they've already lived in. And we saw this a lot. I'm sure you boomed over in like 2020, 2021, when people were pulling a bunch of money out of their house and going, well, I'm just going to refinance my house. I love it, but I'm going to put $100,000 or $200,000 into it to refresh it. To take somebody from a mental status of going, my house is too cluttered, it's just not me anymore, it's really outdated. And it's like, dude, you just have too much shit. You just have a house full of stuff. Let's get rid of all of it, right? And minimalize what you have around you and just create more of a, I don't know if you're into the feng shui type thing or the minimalist look or, the more contemporary stuff. But I think less is more a lot of times, at least in the trends that I'm seeing right now. And it creates a sense of
peace.
Almost right. Yeah. And it just lifts off. And we have the same problem, as real estate folks going into a home and, people, they're so attached to these knickknacks and these little tchotchkes on the, their collections of stuff. And it's just like, we got to get rid of some of this because it's just way too personal. Right. And I almost feel a sense of stress just being in this room because of how much stuff is in here. So are those conversations difficult for you, or are you more just matter of fact, hey, we got to clean all this crap out?
No, I'm matter of fact. Actually, I am. I use the word clutter often. I always say, let's declutter our space, and then we can introduce what's really important back in. If you're a big book collector, then let's figure out which ones need to be displayed and which ones can go in a closet. But yeah, no, I go straight to the point.
Yeah. So for somebody listening that maybe wants to start that phase in their life, before making that leap into getting a designer in there, where does somebody go that has collections? Do you have a preferred person that could come in and do some consignment stuff for you? Or do you just say, take it all to the Goodwill? Or how do people get rid of the 40 years of clutter?
Yeah, it depends on the value of the clutter. I work with the Sisters Attic. They do a consignment, and there's another place up in North Scottsdale called Lost and Found. They're really great if you have some valuable pieces that you want to sell. Other than that, I just
Facebook Marketplace
all day, or give it away if it's just something that's meaningful. Give it to a family member, that sort of thing. But declutter.
What do you feel like are for us? I mean, we sell homes, and definitely how a home looks helps bring the dollar amount up higher. What do you think if somebody says, I want to increase the value of my home, or what are some trends that you think is it the bathroom, the kitchen?
Always 100% time it's the kitchen and bathrooms. Those are big ones, and those are expensive projects. So those, if you can update those are my two favorite rooms to do.
What is an updated kitchen? What are those?
Cabinetry, countertops, flooring's big. Even flooring alone changes the look of a home. If you have a carpet in one room and some old outdated tile, if you bring an even flooring throughout the entire home, that looks presentable. Mm-hmm. That looks great. So
at one point it was all white canvas. Now is it dark brown, or is it a combination? Or
so what I'm seeing, remember the farm that went in about 6 years ago, 7 years ago?
Farmhouse style?
Farmhouse style with the gray.
Yeah.
Now that's out.
Interesting.
And now what's in is the blonde floors with the black lowers and the white uppers. And we're getting rid of the shaker cabinets. We're seeing flat front shakers with gold handles still. Those are still around. Mm-hmm. I don't know how long, but they're still wanting the gold trim and the faucets and that.
No more stainless steel, huh?
I wouldn't say never. Okay. Stainless is timeless.
Right.
Gold is going to,
trendy.
Trendy.
And what's nice about cabinets, I don't think people understand is, it's expensive, especially if you have a big kitchen. But I know there's suppliers out there now that will just reface the doors for you. So you're not having to rip cabinets off the walls if, the placement is fine for you. And you don't really even have to take your things out of the cupboards. There's companies out there that will come and put new doors on for you, or stain the boxes, if you will. And you can update that with the trends every 6 or 7 years instead of having to put in $60,000 in new cabinetry, because you start to go down the rabbit hole, right? And that remodel. You mentioned floors, and it's okay, well, let's take out the old carpet and put in new floors. Well, you do that, but probably now you need new baseboards, and then you rip the baseboards up, you might as well update them. Now you got to redo the whole house of baseboards. Now you got to paint the baseboards. What are you going to paint the baseboards and not paint the walls? So now you're repainting your entire house at that point. You know what I mean? And then you got to take the covers off the outlets. Might as well put new outlets or outlet covers on at that point. So it's these things that you start going around the rabbit hole. You're like, Jesus, I just wanted some floors in the bedroom, but it's now it goes kind of down that path. So
pretty much.
So, but consulting with somebody who's a professional can foresee those types of problems before you ever start, and probably come up with some good solutions or suggestions on how you can update your home, maybe on a more economical way, unless you want to come in and really do a full blowout instead of, I need all new cabinets. Let's just put some new doors and some updated hardware on there and save you 50, 60% or more on doing something like that. So again, that's why it's great to have a professional in your corner. And then they know that when time comes and maybe they save a little bit of money, or they were able to refinance their house and pull out a lot of money, you're the person that they're going to call to come in and do do the big job, do the full package. Now, do you have your own construction crew that you work with or recommend, or, okay, you go, let's remodel the bathroom and the kitchen. Who does the work?
So
You're not out there swinging a hammer, are you?
I have several vendors that I like to call, and contractors, general contractors. I have tile guys. I have plumbers. So I have
Just like what we do.
Yeah, same
relationships.
thing. Relationships for sure.
Yeah. So, and the countertop's still white. Is that what's?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the white's not going anywhere anytime.
What about black backsplashes?
Beautiful.
Or what else are you showing? Are you doing like quartz up the walls of the kitchen?
So instead of the subway tiles that were big,
right?
So less grout. Now we're seeing less grout in the bathroom, less grout in the kitchen. So we're taking the slabs and we're going right up the wall, slabs on the floor, right up the shower, no grout. It's a really nice, clean look.
Right.
Do you have a favorite builder? And sorry to pepper you with questions. It's just like you're like a mini celebrity here. Who do you feel right now is one of the best spec model home builders? That's really doing it right and really kind of hitting the nail on the head, because we show a lot of new homes as well.
Yeah.
And boy, there's such a difference between a lower end builder grade finished, track home to some of these other that are track homes at really high end finishes. Do you have a favorite new home builder that you know of?
Well, I don't have a cookie cutter new home builder that, like, let's say, one of the big guys that are out there. I don't work with them, but I have personal, more smaller builders that one of them, Arco, they do custom homes in the $15 million range in Paradise Valley. Mm-hmm. So I like to work with them any chance I get. Other guys are just, like I said, they're general contractors. They'll come in and their job is to come and do the demo, maybe put the walls up, and then I call someone else to do the next. So I'm sort of a project manager as well when it comes.
You're the quarterback.
Yeah.
You're the quarterback.
Yeah, I piece it out. I piece the work out.
Right. But you stay, you're the one that's facilitating between the people that are living there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what do you think? Brittany's very creative. What's your ideas about decorating and
it's just
trends?
interesting to hear it all, and it's really cool.
I'm seeing a lot of like overflow from, you were mentioning the commercial side of things that you're doing now, to make these commercial buildings feel a little bit more homey. Like, for example, the room that we're in right now, right? I mean, you have the plants and, the comfortable chairs. It's not so just like office anymore. Mm-hmm. Some of the more modern offices I'm seeing have, more the couches and the lounge areas and things like that. Very almost like Google, right? Or Facebook type offices. Is that something that you feel is like a trend that's happening, or has that always been around? It just feels more warm now.
So this last project that I just finished took 2 years to do. That's exactly what they wanted, to create a cultural environment, a home feeling that when you're at work that everything is here. So with this project, we put in everything from a gym, spa. They have a lounge. They have, there's nothing they didn't think of. So it's got that really home feel, but again, it's very high end home feel. So it's not cluttered. It's very clean. It's very contemporary. Mm-hmm. You walk in and you almost feel like you're walking into a 5-star hotel in the lobby.
Exactly.
Did you get that feel?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what about closets? That's always like to make sure, like, is there a way that you recommend to make it less cluttered or more organized? Mm-hmm. Or
so what I do with a closet rehab is I just pull everything out of the closet. Uh-huh. Literally take everything you own and put it in the other room, and then clean it out. And then if you need new shelving, we go from there. But if there's something that we can do existing, then I'll work with a professional organizer, and then we'll just come in and start doing bins and maybe add some extra hooks. And then again, it's a declutter situation. Do you really need this blouse from 1980? Make piles. And then when they see it all go back in the closet, and maybe there's a picture you hung in there, and you set something on the vanity in there, and
right.
You start, okay, let's keep it this way.
Yeah.
And it almost makes you want to go in there and get dressed, because you're like, oh, wow, it's like a little boutique instead of it being a mess.
My personal situation is I have outfits, like when different parties you go to, you might buy a new outfit. Well, I don't wear that outfit again necessarily, but I keep it because I remember that party. So I have to
Let go. Take a picture and look at the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you've ever seen an episode or two of that show Hoarders, not calling you a hoarder, but that's, I mean, you know, there is a lot of psychology behind that with people clutter stuff because those items, you know, are tied to memories that they, you know, had with their family or raising their kids, or they just can't let go of those things. And, yeah, I can understand that. And I've dealt with that, you know, in my own career with clients and family members. And,
right.
you know, I had a family member that would have not one, but 2 storage units that, you know, that you rent, just filled with stuff because they just couldn't get rid of it. You know, they thought they might need it at some time or something. You know, it's just,
Wow.
It's a crazy thing. But, you know, I guess one of the main points I wanted to emphasize, though, is the importance of having somebody who is creative, who can see through that in their corner, instead of just maybe relying on, if you're doing a remodel and asking your contractor. Maybe, you know, you have a buddy or a neighbor that's a good contractor, you know, a personal contractor. I think that's where you kind of get into trouble because they're not designers. They might be really good at their craft, at building things or designing, putting the cabinets in and so on and so forth. But you need that person there directing and
Guidance.
project manager to make it look good, instead of just, well, I'm just going to do it to the best that I know how. So you have to be tough, right? Because you have to boss these contractors around and,
True.
you know, make sure they're doing it, not cutting corners. And so a designer, if you are thinking about doing a remodel, if you're thinking about getting your house ready for the market, well worth the investment and the money to have that professional on your side, instead of, you know, just watching HD TV and thinking that you can do what they do, because you
Absolutely.
can't. Most of
Right.
the time you can't.
And we do find, Adam, Brittany, and I, when we're selling homes, the homes that, you know, smell the best and, you know, can feel, you know, less personalized, I feel, do bring in more money and are easier to sell. And people can visualize, oh, I can put my couch here, I can put my chair here, or
Right.
this would be a great place for us to read, or an exercise room.
Here's an actual perfect example. This last weekend, I was looking at some homes, and I went online. I was doing some research in some comparables, and this was a house over in McCormick Ranch that the person who purchased the home bought it in 2021. They sold it right at the beginning of 2023. So they owned it about, I think it was like 18 months, 19 months, not very long at all. And we know that there was some appreciation during that time. They sold it. They bought it for $995,000. They sold it for 1.9 million. So they basically doubled their money. Sold it for $1 million more. And when I looked at it from the previous listing to when they sold it in 2023, all they did was redesign it. They didn't do any major construction. They just redecorated it and painted it and did a few other little tweaks. Like they did some stuff in the backyard. They added a gazebo and took out an old barbecue grill. So that was probably the major construction.
Wow. What about the cabinets in the kitchen?
They were all the same. They changed out the hardware. So I looked up who sold the house, right? Because now I'm interested. I'm like, how did this house just go up? How did this house double in price?
Right.
And so I was looking at the old photographs compared to the new photographs. And the person who had bought it and then sold it was a designer. She owned a design company in, I want to say, North Carolina, and had another one in Scottsdale. And it really kind of set the mindset that I'd had in the past, but just simply by redecorating a house. And I don't want to say that that's all you do, but the flooring was the same, the kitchen was the same, even the cabinetry, everything was the same.
The placement of furniture.
But the placement of the furniture, they changed out, an old chandelier and put in like a boho style kind of, wicker looking thing, and really modernized the look and the feel of everything. But the importance of having a good design and a good decorator and changing up the furniture, if you're selling a higher end home, even if you rent that furniture, is that people, when they're buying a home, buy on emotion. And when they walk into a home, they want to absorb that lifestyle that they're seeing because it's better and it's an advancement of what they're coming from. And so having somebody who, for a minimal amount of time, can be in a home and just simply redecorate, or you move all of your junk out and you rent some nice furniture. I'm sure you have some contacts for that can come in and design a home that way. Proof is in the pudding. I mean, this person doubled in 18 months, doubled the value of their home. And again, you're in Scottsdale. You're in an area where there was a lot of custom builds and rebuilds. So you're kind of designing your own comps at that point. But it goes to show too that when you can make a home look the best, not only in the trends and that, that type of thing, but the feel of when you walk into it, people typically know within the first 10 to 15 feet of walking into a home whether it's going to be a perfect fit for them, and they're going to fall in love with it. So if you can make that wow factor happen by bringing in somebody who is a professional, you're going to, it's an investment. It's not even a cost at that point, because you're going to be able to really impact the sale of your home's value.
Absolutely.
Having it look the best that you can.
Absolutely. And I know lots of times when Brittany and I and Adam are going out to different homes and we're assessing what's going on, we'll even come after people decide they want to work with us, and we'll bring in our designer or even our own experience from seeing homes to help you bring up the value so we can get the highest price for you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think, I'm convinced, right? You're top notch out there.
Right.
Well, I'd like to think so.
Yeah. And the other thing is with our theme of our show is we always are saying, when you grew up, where did you grow up, Heather? You grew up in?
I grew up in Michigan in the Upper Peninsula.
Okay. And
very rural country setting.
And then how long have you been here?
I've been here 8 years now.
8 years. And how is it? How do you find the lifestyle personally?
It's perfect for me. The weather's perfect. The culture's perfect. The people are perfect. Coming from the Midwest, there's a ton of Midwesterners here. I like that aspect to it. The desert, the theme. I actually grew up on a Native American Indian reservation, so all that culture, I resonate with that here too.
Right.
So I love it here. I spent some time in 12 years in New Jersey, and it's night and day. Night and day.
Well, we're really glad that you were able to join our show and be part of our team. And thank you all for being here today. And we look forward to having you come back next week. And thank you so much. Bye for now.
Thank you, Holly.